So just a disclaimer for this video, I am feeling kind of sick, under the weather. I don't really want to do anything, and I'm just, sick. I don't even want to sing because I feel like Dookie, and it's not even Valentine's Day. What the hell am I saying? So hey everyone, welcome back to the 5 Awesome Geeks. This time we're going to be talking about my favorite fantasy stuff. So yesterday Britt talked about Pokemon and Digimon, which I love and adore. You know, I've talked about them on this channel before, and I would totally agree with Britt. I think that Digimon is definitely, well, I think both of them are, but for most part Digimon is way more like fantastical, because it's you have the digital world, the kids go into the digital world to save the world, save their own world, because bad Digimon are going to cause chaos. And Pokemon has, some fantastical elements in its own right as well. Kids catching animals, little Pokemon, to fight battles and become the very best like no one ever was. And I love these guys, they're so cute! Now, one of my favorite book series from high school is actually the Belgariad and Malorian series from David Eddings. This is a series about a boy named Garion. He is part of a prophecy that will come and bring destruction to the world unless he can save it. It's kind of like it's a high fantasy from the 70s, 80s, I believe, and it's kind of generic in some sense, but I really like it. I love the writing, I love the world building in this story. I love David Eddings, and he's one of my favorite authors. Rest in peace, he died in like 2010, sadly, but he was such a wonderful author that is highly underrated, and I really loved him. My other favorite book series is the Iron Druid Chronicles. This is an urban fantasy series written by Kevin Hearn. It's about an Iron Druid named Atticus, who is 2100 years old, and he is fighting against baddies like vampires and werewolves in this modern day setting. And one of my favorite characters in this book is an Irish wolfhound named Oberon, who is so hilarious. He loves sausages, and he hates squirrels. It's just, he's one of the most, wonderful, vivid, and hilarious characters I've ever read in a story. I love him, and this is just a really great mix of comedy and action and mythology. I love it so much. Now, Britt has already talked about Disney, so I won't go into that really much. I think we should have a Disney week in general, but I agree with her, those are definitely fantasy films. But I also really love How to Train Your Dragon from DreamWorks. This is one of my favorite movies. I love the sequel even more. It's just such a fun, imaginative time. I love dragons, and the sequel is actually really sad. I love it so much. It's so good. One that I was surprised that people haven't talked about yet, and I don't know if they just didn't like this movie, or maybe it's just my own, guilty pleasure, but it's The Dark Crystal. I love Jim Henson and The Dark Crystal and Labyrinth. This was one of my favorite movies as a kid, and I should have talked about it in my, nostalgia talk, but I didn't. Fun fact about this movie, this is one of my first videos on YouTube, was me, a Christmas special talking about one of the movies I got, and this was one of them. So, fun fact about me. See, I just feel really attached to this story. I love it. It's really cheesy. It's from the 90s, 94, I think. I really, really adore it, though. Going into some anime, I love, love, love Hayao Miyazaki. I would call him a fantastical creator. This is Spirited Away. I think this is a fantastical story. It's beautiful. I would love to own it on Blu-ray, but I already have this DVD version, and it's so nice in its own right. I love this movie. It's one of my favorites. I adore it, and I love Hayao Miyazaki. If you haven't watched it yet, you totally should. It's wonderful. And you can't have a fantasy anime without talking about Inuyasha. I adore this show. It is so wonderful. I love the characters. The characters are so fun and vibrant and just really lovable. I fall in love with all of them. Koga's my favorite character. I love Moroku and Sango and Sesshomaru, of course, and just I love this show. It's so good. I want to rewatch it now, and it's so long. It's almost 200 episodes, but I love it. It's well worth your time. So good. Another really long anime I love is Hunter x Hunter. I adore this show as well. It's by the same person who made Yu Yu Hakusho, which is another good one. But this one is about hunters, a boy named Gon, who is trying to become a hunter after his father has left him and his mother, or aunt, I guess, I think. And he goes out in search of becoming a hunter himself, and it's really fun. It's a fun show, and part 2 is coming out in February. I'm so excited about it. Done by Viz. I really like the dub. The dub is really good. It's an LA dub. Keith Silverstein is awesome in this show. Anyway, great show. I love it so much. I also love Sayuki. This is the OVA. I adore this show. It's based on a Chinese, like, legend of Goku and the story of going west. I really, really like it. It's really good. I still need to watch this OVA. I think I watched the first episode and I liked it, but I just never finished it. Another really good show that I didn't pull out for this video is Princess Tutu. Love it. It's a fairy tale show about this ballerina who, well, actually it's a duck who turns into a girl and is a ballerina. It's like a magical girl show. It's so good. And then the last anime I want to talk about, I'm actually not going to say a whole lot about, and that is From the New World, which is also known as Shin Sekai Yori. This show is one of those shows that you have to go into blind, so I'm not going to talk about it, really, about the plot or anything. I think this is a must-watch anime, in my top 5 of all time. I love it so much. And it's so good. It's a dark story, and I just think everyone should watch it. So check it out. Really good. And then finally, the last thing I want to talk about is kind of a guilty pleasure that I really like. I need to actually watch more of it. I love Adventure Time. Adventure Time, grab a friend. I love this show. It's so silly and fun. I just really adore it. And I love this Funko Pop because she is so sassy, girl. She is a sassy little bitch. And she shakes and she has vinyl in her head. But she don't care. She don't give a shit. She is still a flawless little bitch. So those are my favorite fantasy stories. I'm sure I forgot something, but, you know, that's what I got for right now. I love these things. What are some of your favorite fantasy stories? Let me know in comments below. Please, I would love to talk to you. I'm Melissa. We will see you tomorrow.